Yeah, obviously really pleasing to get off to a good early start and get a goal early in the game. I think it would have been nice for us to kind of capitalize on some of the momentum we had early in the game and really finish it off quite early, but that doesn't always happen. And then the field, the heat and humidity maybe got the better of us and them. To be honest, it was difficult conditions. So had to grind it out, had to use a lot of our depth, and obviously got that second goal late in the game just to make things a little more comfortable to the finish there. But again, first game of the season, really, really nice to get off to a winning start and keep a clean sheet as well.
Any questions for Coach? Start with Nick Farrell.
Coach, memories from playing the Pitt Panthers as an athlete at West Virginia. I was looking back. I think you guys played them every year you were a student, with the exception of maybe 1 year. Did you ever score against Pitt? I know you had a couple of assists. I'm just wondering what your memories are of those rivalry games.
I definitely remember them playing them away, winning a game 3-1 there. I think actually we were scheduled to play them home my junior year. Perhaps we had a really, really strong, prolific year in Big East competition, and that was the last game of the season. Then it got postponed because of a thunder and lightning. And I remember being really, really excited about that game because we'd had such a great year. I think we were number 2 in the country at the time, and with respect, at that time, feeling like a chance to be up on them a little bit. So disappointed we missed out on that one. But no, I do recollect some of those games, and it just adds a little bit of extra zealous to the game, a little bit more appetite to the game, perhaps when it's a local rivalry and it's a program and a university that we have a history with for sure.
Sam Caniglio.
Coach, we spoke to Dion after the game last night, and he said one of the first things he learned when he came to West Virginia was about the Pitt rivalry. Now, obviously, a lot of the guys in your locker room are from elsewhere in the world, and you've got Ike, you've got Elijah, you got some West Virginians. But does it feel like a derby match around the locker room for you guys?
It will do for sure. We haven't met up with the team yet since last night's game, but I know that this has been on their mind. I think that's another element of why yesterday was a little more tricky. That we didn't want to look past Robert Morris and just focus on Pitt, and had to make sure that we really took care of business yesterday. But a few of the guys have come by today. I know they're excited. And again, whether they're here, whether they're a domestic player, whether they're from West Virginia, or whether they're an international, they know of a team with a local derby, a local rival. They've probably played in a few growing up themselves. And this is no different. So if they don't quite know exactly what it's going to stand for, what it's going to mean, I hope the crowd's going to have that impact. I hope the occasion itself will give them a lasting impression of just what a rivalry it is. But again, first and foremost, it's a great fixture for us. It's a great game. It's a fantastic opponent. And again, to be the best, you have to beat the best, and we'll be coming up against one of the very best on Monday night.
Let's go to Liam Beelan.
Hi, Coach. Obviously, I know you pride your teams on, strong defensive play at the back. With that being said, keeping a clean sheet in yesterday's game, but Pitt also kept a clean sheet and put up 7 goals against Duquesne. So take us through what you think, what you're going through in practice and everything to try and combat that strong Pitt attack.
Yeah, we're still looking at exactly how we're going to go about stopping them. Quite honestly, they're a very expansive side. They like to be the team in possession, as do we. They commit a lot of numbers forward, and we'll need to be very well prepared to try and stop that, to nullify that threat. And obviously, with the way that they play, if we can stop them as close to their goal as possible, it gives us a shortest distance to obviously then attack ourselves. So I think we need to be versatile enough to be able to really try and take them out of their rhythm early in the game if we can. But then understand that just as when we played Marshall in the spring, they're a quality team that enjoy possession, and there's going to be times where we have to be comfortable without the ball. So again, we'll need to find that balance. We'll need to be very, very good tactically on the day, And we've got, you know, the better part of 2 training sessions here and a little over 48 hours to make sure that we get those messages to the players clearly and concisely, while at the same time making sure that we understand that we will compete with this team, and we do have a lot of quality ourselves, and you know, we want to still try to be the dominant force and exert our dominance on the game throughout.
Back to you, Nick.
So, Coach, you mentioned the Marshall match from last spring. Can you call back to that match here this weekend as you guys get ready for training? Obviously, the match against Pitt can go any which way, but as you just explained, that Marshall match was one where they had possession and a lot of chances, but you guys still held packed and came away with the victory.
We can agree to disagree on the number of chances, but they had a lot of possession. I'll give you that one, Nick. Yeah, look, I think it was funny. I was talking to one of the guys, I think it was actually Dion just the other day, and he quoted me from the team talk from before that game. I didn't realize that anyone paid attention when I was talking before the game, but I think it was words to the effect of, you know, these are the type of games that will last, you know, have those lasting memories and have that last you the lifetime of when you think back of your time with this program. You're going to think back to these types of evenings, these types of night games at home in front of a big crowd against a quality opponent. And this will be no different on Monday night. We should take a lot of confidence from the fact that we had that experience against Marshall in the spring. It is a different game, and it's a slightly different playing style that we're coming up against, but it's another quality opponent that's coming to our home. It's another rivalry game. It's another one where a lot of people will be paying attention to the result of this game and perhaps tuning in that potentially wouldn't normally. So we want to make sure that we do ourselves justice. We want to make sure that we give a good account of ourselves, and I truly think that will then, if we do those things, it will reflect in the scoreline, and we can have another successful night.
Sam?
Coach, going back to last night, you know, you said Duquesne wanted to slow you guys down. You still dominated the possession. Got 12 shots, I think 7 maybe on net. I don't have the stats right in front of me, but you know, going up to Pitt, you guys are going to need to kind of try to do a similar thing. Maybe not slow them down, maybe speed them up. I'm not sure. I'm not writing the game plan. That's you. But how do you make sure that your team is going to have that mentality to control the game, especially at home?
Taking the confidence from a really good preseason, some really good moments going obviously through yesterday as well. And as we alluded to yesterday, you know, 21 players saw time yesterday. We have a lot of depth. I don't think there'll ever be a time really this season where I would say that we will try and slow the game down. Perhaps later on if we're managing a lead, but I believe that should be our strength. I believe that with the depth that we have, the potential and ability to rotate as we can, we want to play a high tempo game. I really do think if the players buy into that mentality, there'll be no doubt they'll be motivated and they'll be up for it for Monday night. How could you not be? But high energy should be our identity this season. So, you know, we want to have that. We as we have said, we're coming against a quality opponent with quality players. So let's run them into the ground. Let's dominate the last 15 minutes of the first half and the last 25 minutes of the second half. If we can't before that, I still think we can. But part of our identity this year has to be that we're a high energy team, a high octane team, and play with tempo from the first minute to the last.
We'll go Nick and then Liam.
Okay, so their midfielder, Noel, Coach, was a Herman Trophy finalist last year. Really talented kid. How does he act as their engine in attack? Like, he seems like really the key component of their attack. I'm just wondering what you've seen from him and what does he do well?
Yeah, I mean, I wish he was the only one. Listen, they don't have too many weaknesses in this team. This is a group of quality players. Again, just as we'll need a plan to make sure we account for him. There's a lot of other quality players around him that again allow him to shine and really showcase his qualities and his threat from an attacking standpoint. So again, it's why these players are here at WVU. They wanted to play in these types of games. They wanted to understand that on a night like Monday, pressure is a privilege. We're in a position where, again, we want to be what they have, right? We want to have a number by our name. We want to be a top 10 team. So what better way to do it than to play against one of the best teams in the country? it would be short-sighted not to make sure that we've paid close attention to him. But there's plenty of other problems on the pitch as well, and we're going to have a plan that accounts for all of that the best we can.
Go ahead, Liam.
Coach, so obviously yesterday's lineup brings out Frederick Jorgensen, and also Ryan Crooks gets to make, I believe, his first appearance, even though he was here last year. So can you talk about what they add to the squad? And obviously, you mentioned there was a lot of players off the bench and whatnot, but, being able to start them, can you talk about the impact that they've had and how they got there?
Yeah, I'd say firstly, that would reinforce a message that we've sent to the players really here from day one, that none of these new players that have come in this year are here to replace anyone. They're here to reinforce an already strong squad and a quality squad from last spring. So I think when you have 9 of the 11 that were returning players from the spring, and quite honestly, Ryan as well has been with us for a year, awaiting his eligibility, which he now has. So really 10 of the starting 11 from yesterday are returning players. Frederick's come in and done well, and so have a number of the new players as well. So I think that's the biggest part is Fred and Crooksy, along with the entire bench, bring a quality of depth that, with respect, we didn't quite have in the spring, and maybe didn't feel like we had maybe when I first got the job. So we're very, very comfortable that with changes and with options off the bench, I think it holds a greater level of accountability to the players that do start, that they have to adhere to a very high standard and work ethic. And again, there's no better feeling when I can make a change and shake someone's hand and tell them well done, because they've given everything they can for however many minutes it might be. And it's that next man up mentality. So listen, while there's going to be some disappointments, and I'm sure some players that feel they should have played more yesterday, we need that, and you have to have that amongst the squad. What's important is they manage those disappointments and those adversities, and really come back strong tomorrow in training, on Sunday in training, and however long their opportunity might be on Monday, that they absolutely take advantage when it's their time.
Nick?
So, Coach, sort of a bigger picture question here. Maybe I'm reaching on this, but did the spring season follow quickly by a small off season and getting into the fall season that has now begun? Can that quick succession of games sort of increase the level of talent we're seeing in college soccer this year? Because you've got guys who played more together more recently. There was less of a break in between seasons. I guess I'm wondering if you could see that playing out as we see a higher level of soccer this year.
Yeah, hard to say. I think specific to our program, obviously there's a good amount of continuity from what we had in the spring to what played and what started, for example, as we just alluded to yesterday. But I'd say that's a difficult one for me to see that as a overall in the grand scheme of men's soccer and college soccer, how that might impact things. I know the players prefer it, quite honestly. I think especially when you're talking to internationals who are familiar with starting in July and finishing in May. The season is year round pretty much everywhere except here, quite honestly. So I know they've enjoyed the ability to have that spring season, take some time off without missing it for too long, and then getting back to work. I'd also argue that from a standpoint of what we've tried to do tactically and how we try to develop our playing style, not having 8 months to develop that rust has been really beneficial. It's like the expedited process that we feel like we went through, reinforcing those tactics again here in pre-season. So there's definitely been some positives and some benefits to it, not only for the coaching staff, for the players. Whether that reflects in a greater quality overall within the level would be difficult to say.
And Liam.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one more question, Coach. Obviously, Ciro Borloyegi getting a goal yesterday. I know as a forward, obviously you're priding yourself on scoring goals. A lot of it, your confidence can come whether or not you're scoring goals. And it was his first of his collegiate career. So can you talk about like how he was feeling and how he got to that point?
hopefully elated. I don't think there's anyone that deserves it more in our squad. This is a young man that came here just over a year ago now, and has had an incredible attitude, an incredible work ethic. Truly understands what an opportunity this is for him, whether it be academically, he's a 4.0 student, or on the field as well. He has been a sponge, absorbed as much as he can, thrown himself and immersed himself in this environment and within our culture, and is humble enough to understand that he needs to continue to improve as well. So I know he wants to score goals. I know he was frustrated at the, if you like, lack of production that he would perceive it to have had, in the spring. So I'm really pleased for him that he got that goal, and he's had a great preseason as well, and really thrust himself into true contention to start games and to be a significant contributor to us in the centre forward position this season.